Hey guys, I am a 2500 bullet rated chess player on chess.com. I'm going to show you two chess tips that helped me go from 2450 to 2500 bullet rating in just 2 weeks with as little as 30 games. So let's get going. Guys, number one is deep calculation skills. Many people will ask, why would you calculate deeply in a bullet game? Well, you don't. You just play one move ahead. But because you have trained puzzles, difficult puzzles, you spot patterns like a bishop that is unprotected on the e-file. And you know what you do when you have an unprotected piece? For example, a queen or a bishop on the file? You put your rook there. And let me just show you how good this move was long term. So the game continues. I open up the rook. The rook is very active right now. Bishop to f4, knight to b1, knight to c3. This is another pattern, by the way. Knight to c4, I was already able to take on d5. But why would I take if first of all he can go rook to d8? I need to move away and he captures the pawn. And I'm losing the activity. And even if he just captures this, I know that the pattern of having no light square bishop and having the g3 pawn pushed is super deadly long term. That's why I just play knight to c3 to plant an attack. He thinks I'm attacking the b5 pawn. Well, surprise, surprise, I'm attacking the d5 pawn, and that's what happens. And later on, I won on time and just had a better position. Two pawns fall apart, and everything is amazing. Let me show you one more quick example. So here, he's playing g4, and I'm in big trouble because look, if I just go knight to c6, he's gonna go g5, knight to d7, and he's gonna sacrifice the bishop and destroy my king. It's the pattern that I just know. So, without even calculating, just based off intuition, I play b4, b takes c. Here again, I'm not calculating. I know that I cannot really go here because he's quicker. He's got one tempo up, so he's gonna win this exchange. He's gonna take this bishop and take this, and he's a piece up. So I play bishop to g7. I take. Now again, I see another pattern. Dark squares that are super weak. So I'm going to enter here. I take. And that's basically how the game went. I mean, I actually wasn't a pawn up, but I was playing black and I got some activity here on the c4 square. I'm just happy with this position, especially because I'm playing black. Okay guys, so now I'm going to show you two examples on how to improve your chess calculation. First tip is try to memorize a position, for example from a book or from your game, and copy it onto a empty chessboard. So here I'm looking at this chessboard. Obviously the less pieces there are, the better for you. So you can start with simple pawn endgames with 5 pawns each, and then copy them and see if you do well. If you do well enough, you can copy it into those more advanced endgames and then into middle games. So let me see if I can remember. I didn't really give it didn't even give it a look, but alright. So I remember pawn f7 here, pawn e6, pawn a6, knight b5, knight to a5. I just remember this is the most important square in the game, so I remembered that all the pieces around there. So king on d2 from what I remember, f2, f3, h2. There's also just experience, not gonna lie, experience from these type of position. I've been playing the Sicilian for a long time, so I just know how these positions look. And yeah, I remember that I had the same amount of pawns as my opponent, so something is wrong, but that's basically what I remember, guys. Let me see if I was right. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot about the different position. But you get what my point. I got some accuracy because I copied this side of the chessboard pretty well, just rook on the wrong square. There was no pawn on e6, and you can just rinse and repeat. It's gonna help your visualization to the point where you can just play blindfolded against few people. And Do it, guys, don't be lazy. I just know that this is gonna help you a lot. Okay, guys, so number two, we are on Chess Tempo, a website for chess training, but I only use it for chess puzzles. Why not Lichess? Why not chess.com? Because these puzzles are more concrete and I believe they make more sense. So you can start with easy, medium, or I mean, probably with easy, right? If you're a hardcore, you can start with hard already. I've been doing hard for, the past 6 months. If you do them wrong, obviously they're gonna adjust your rating. But let me just explain why not chess.com or Lichess. Everybody plays there, so why would you do the same thing? I believe that you should always try to do something a little bit different. And yeah, in my opinion, that's the best website to do your puzzles. You can do one a day, which is my routine, because more is just taking too much time for me. I just don't like it that much. But of course, the more you do, the better you're gonna be. But you just gotta remember that you need to stay consistent. You cannot do three a day for 3 days and then leave them. It's better to do one a day, but for a month at least, right? And yeah, just don't spend more than 5 minutes because these are just purely for pattern recognition. So what is happening here? I'm not sure. Again, it's actually black to play. So I believe that we need to create a checkmating net. I'm not. All right, let's see. Okay, I see that if I just go knight to d3, queen f3, rook f2, here, and king to b2, the pawns run away, and there's no other choice. So I gotta do something else. Let me not look at the chessboard. At the solution. Guys, I actually checked the answer because yeah, I just wanna record this video quickly to give it to you as quickly as possible. So here, what I told you about, you need to stop the pawns so they don't advance. So my idea was correct, but on a5 this is very slow to be honest. Knight to d3, and here we exchange, and yeah, we just have enough time to block everything, to block the pawns and neutralize. It's probably gonna be a draw. So guys, remember, if you do chess or chess.com, just stick to it. It's not that important, but yeah, I would suggest chess tempo the most. And tip number two that I wanted to give you is majority of your bullet games are not won in the game, they are actually won in the time where you're studying your middle game and openings, knowing what to play exactly. So for example here, I know exactly that I want to play d4, I want to open up the c file and play on the queen side, helps me with my time management and just overall staying confident because I know exactly what I want to do, right? Also, because I've studied those positions, I see tactical patterns and I'm just very, very fast to create attacks and shock my opponent. You see, he's lost 7 seconds, 53 seconds against 46 already. You're gonna think, okay, it doesn't matter. It does matter because now I play c6 and the time difference gets bigger and bigger, and also the advantage on the chessboard is getting bigger and bigger. As you can see, I'm super active here. My whole idea just made sense. The knights are killing this position, killing my opponent. About to play knight to a7. So you have to study your middle games and know what you want to play before you play the game. Otherwise, if you just end up thinking, okay, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this, first of all, you're gonna lose time. Second of all, you're not gonna know what is going on and you will lose on the chessboard. So guys, let me show you example number 2. Basically the same idea, right? Opening up the C file and playing on it, because that's what I play on bullet. I showed you that on the 2450 rating video. Again, my lovely E file looking at the bishop, what I showed you in the calculation thing. And yeah, the common idea here, I didn't think about it now. It's just a common outpost for the knight. In this opening, you place it on c5, and it's just a very active piece there, right? You play knight c5, and this, I didn't think about, I didn't have it prepared, right? But because I had a good position, I had many options, and the ideas just came to my mind very easily because the position is easy to play. So after taking knight to e5, as I told you guys, the position is easy to play for me. My opponent needs to think of every move he makes, and the problem is that he's got less and less time. And in bullet, if you, for example, are 20 seconds against 40 seconds, first of all, you're gonna lose on time, but second of all, the person with low time, I'm telling you, they are also going to lose on the chessboard because now they have to rush and make stupid moves. So here he just gave away a rook that I didn't see, but I took the bishop, so it doesn't matter. Actually was a piece up, but I'm not anymore. And rook to e7. I'm winning on the chessboard. I have 2 pawns in a minute, and that are gonna come to the end of the chessboard very quickly, and I'm winning on time. So yeah. Okay, so how can you train middle games? Well, middle games are all about ideas, right? So every middle game is different to any other, and but they are very similar when they are from the same opening. So what I want to show you is you can use Lichess studies and the opening book to actually learn your middle games very, very well. So here after g6, pawn to d5, let's say you are a Grunfeld player, right? And you don't really know how to play those positions. You can click here, and now you have so many games that, for example, here you just click the game, Top Games by Magnus Carlsen, and you look at what's happening. So as you can see, white is usually trying to control the c file, black wants to trade the queens. The reason why black wants to trade the queens, I also played the Grunfeld, is because you have 2 pawns on the queen side, which in the endgame, for example in a pawn endgame, are a huge advantage. White has more space and is better short term, but the more pieces you exchange, the better you are. And again, in the king in endgame, your king just stays there, the pawns can rush and act as a decoy, and then the black king can capture everything on the king side. So yes guys, watch better players play. That's how you learn everything. That's how you learn to, I don't know, box, play football or whatever. Middle games are the most decisive part of a chess game because they just are very testing. Like you can blunder, you need to understand the entire position, you need to understand when to go into an endgame, whether your endgame chances are gonna be higher than your opponent's. Obviously, the endgames are also difficult, but in my opinion, the middle games are the most. So you need to learn the concepts of open files. I mean, there are so many courses. Like for example, Coach Ramesh has very good ones. Open files, activating your pieces even on even better squares, outposts, or isolated pawns that I want to show you in this example. So my entire plan for this game was to leave black with this isolated pawn. Why? Because it's annoying, because it's not defended by any other pawns, and all of my pieces will want to look at this pawn. And after some long time, my opponent just didn't, well, he didn't resist the pressure and blundered, but long term, this pawn became super, super weak, as you can see. And that was basically my entire plan for the middle game. Chess is very equal game. The position starts with 0.0 evaluation, maybe plus 0.2, but what I mean is that chess is very equal and you can just find one advantage and try to grind it and grind it, and that's how you can win. So number 2 that I wanted to show you is outposts. Guys, what would you play here? Because I have an answer for this question immediately. I want to play rook to 8 to c1, let him play rook to b8 for example, and then go rook to a4, knight to a4, and place my pieces on these outposts. Obviously, his knight is very annoying, but this is my plan. I want to place my pieces on the outpost. If I cannot place my rook here, I will place my knight here, so his knight cannot jump there. And then once I have a knight on an outpost, it has many advantages, like it's just restricting black's pieces, it's gaining more space, so now I can play rook to c4 and rook to a4. You don't need to know everything from the start, but once you place your knight on the outpost that you just know is a good principle, you start to see more and more. You see rook to c4 and rook to a4. You see that, okay, now the knight is defending the e4 square, so you can push e4, e5. Or now the knight can jump to a6 and create some threats with the queen to a5 to the c7 square. So guys, remember, middle games, watch better players play and learn the principles by courses or reading books. They are very simple. I isolated pawns, outposts, open files, improving your chess pieces, and game plans. That's all about middle game. Very general idea, but yeah, it's gonna take you time to learn middle game chess. It's not very easy to learn quickly. So to summarize the video, your middle game builds you a solid advantage over the entire game and just makes you more confident. Your calculation and tactics are the decisive factor. In bullet, everybody is gonna blunder, so bullet is not about blundering. Bullet is about blundering less and spotting your opponent's blunders more than your opponent does. And that's what's gonna help you achieve that goal. Guys, remember, do the chess tempo puzzles one a day, that's my recommendation, and learn middle game because it's very important for your bullet chess, but also for overall chess, classical and anything else. Thank you for watching and bye.